So I want to recommend a specific foam roller called Rollga today. And I want to let you know that I do not lightly recommend pieces of equipment. I really try to use them, and only if I really think that you will benefit from this, then I want to recommend something. The Rollga is my absolute favorite foam roller in the whole wide world, and I'm not going anywhere without it. I'm totally serious right now. So what's so phenomenal about this is the ridges and the gaps, or the grooves and the ridges. It has a middle one that's a little shallower, and the ones on the side are a little bit deeper, which means the difference between the height here and there is greater than the difference between here and there. Okay, the whole purpose of these grooves is to it allows you to rest your spine, for instance, in the center groove, so these ridges have a better chance of pressing against the muscles along the sides of your spine. And then the rounded edge on the side you can use wonderfully to kind of sideways go into areas that you want to massage. And then sometimes having your muscle, like your quadriceps, right in the center, you get to massage, right? So if I have it right here, you get to massage the outside of it more than just the very top. When you're on a regular foam roller, it's always the stuff that's sticking out the most that will hit it first, right? And the areas around it won't get to it. But especially with your spine might be sticking out more than the muscles around it sometimes. So if the spine can sink into the groove, and then the ridges can actually actively push against your muscle. So it's just phenomenal. This is a firm one. They do make it softer as well. I have to admit, I do not have experience with the softer ones, so I can't recommend any other levels. I like a firm foam roller, so the firm one works really well for me. I actually believe there's even a firmer one, an extra firm one, that I haven't tried either. This one is just fine for me. So I'll just show you a few quick things that you can do with it, and specifically that made a world of difference in my body. So the first thing is a simple neck massage. So you're just gonna lie down and rest your head on the Rollga like you would on a pillow. And now, right, my cervical spine is now resting in the groove in the middle, and those two ridges are already pressing against my erectus spina there. And now I can kind of go back a little bit, and then I'm maybe even pressing more down onto the upper traps. Can put extra pressure down. If I push my feet into the ground and push my neck back against the Rollga, then I get a little extra pressure. But then to really, so this could work really well. But to really dig in, I can roll onto my side slightly, and now this ridge really gets into the neck muscles. If I slide this way a little bit, then it pushes down onto the upper traps, and it's just phenomenal. Lifting the chin a little bit, you could actually get to the attachment here on the mastoid process. So I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. And I don't want to bore you right now, so I'm moving on, even though I do not want to move on. I want to stay here for a little while longer. But let me roll over to the other side. Amazing. Now I could also come into the other groove, right? I could come into the off center, into the bigger groove, and then do it here. And it'll probably just feel slightly different. So that's for you to just try out and play around with it a little bit and see how it works for you. Okay, then moving just a little bit down the body, I'm going to move the roller between my shoulder blades. Now that's the same thing. Our rhomboids, middle traps, erectus spina between the shoulder blades. There's a lot of tension there for many of us. So massaging that is great. And if you're on a regular foam roller, you massage your spine, which we don't necessarily want to be on a bone, right? So I'm holding my head in my hands so I can relax my neck muscles. I'm lifting my hips a little bit, and I'm rolling up and down my upper back. Ouch. With the elbows forward, I can really dig in. If my elbows are back a little bit, I might not feel as much. Oh my goodness. And then I could even come all the way back up onto the neck. Yeah, that's right. Tuck my hair. It's really funny right now. It feels so different on the two sides. I wonder if I have a lot more tension in one side than the other. It's not usually the case, but today it is. I wouldn't recommend going too far down to the lumbar spine because that might just be uncomfortable. Right? So here are your rhomboids. And then go to the underarms. So, right, so just position the Rollga under your arm and you can come a little bit downward. And this is a lot of lat. If you're screaming right now, I understand. Just, if you don't have a lot of experience with foam rolling, if you find a lot of tension, if you hit a spot that has a lot of tension, that's just a sign that you need to work on that a lot more, okay? So follow the discomfort, follow the pain. You don't want to be on a bone. You don't want to, if it's a sharp nerve pain or something like that, then don't do it. But if it's just a massage, the pain that you would feel, discomfort that you feel if somebody's pushing a muscle, then that's actually what you want to look for. It's just a lot of tension there and you need to squeeze it out. You could come up to the upper arm. So sometimes we have a lot of tension just on the shoulder muscle attachments onto the upper arm. Or even in front, or it's not really in front, it's in the back, but right there on the humeral head, there's so many muscles attaching and holding the arm bone in the shoulder socket, and they can get quite tight. So I have quite a pressure point right there, so I can work that out nicely. But just follow your own body, right? Your body will tell you where to go. It'll tell you exactly where to go. Ooh. Okay, let's do that on the other side. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Pick a groove, right? You can use the shallower groove or you can use the deeper groove. You can roll up and down, but you can also roll forward and backwards a little bit. You can also just hold and sink down onto it. Or you can also add a side bend with both hands behind your head. You can do a little side bend. That's also a really good idea. And then maybe check in with the arm. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to shorten this a little bit. I would need to stay here a lot longer. And maybe we will when we're done filming. But yeah, and if you find tension, you gotta stick with it in order to really make a difference. Just hurting yourself briefly, it's not gonna make you happy, but the more often you do it, the less it will hurt and the more freedom of movement you will have. It would be good actually to do, if you work on your upper extremities, head, neck, and shoulders, do it before and after. Like lift your arms, for instance, or move your head and see how it feels. Then do the foam rolling, maybe 15-20 minutes on the Rollga, and then compare those movements, and I promise you will feel so much freer to move it. And then you'll understand that it's good to do it, right? And then you'll maybe want to do it more often. And then one thing that's not in the upper body, but definitely a massage that I want to show you because it's so hard to get to, is the psoas. It's hard to get to, and most of us need it. So your psoas attaches on the inside of your pelvic bowl, right? So if you find your ASIS, those hip bones in the front, and then you go just to the inside. Sometimes, like, you can dig your thumbs in, and if I do that, it's already very, very tender in here, and it is for many of us. So, but getting there is sometimes hard. So that's where you want the outer rounded edge, and I'm pushing this rounded edge against the inside of my hip bone here. And then I'm rolling maybe a little bit up and down. Yep, there it is, I found it. And maybe I'll just hold. You don't have to move all the time. It's like when you squeeze out a sponge and there's a lot of water in the sponge and you want to squeeze every single last drop out. You got to squeeze it really hard and keep squeezing, right? So that's you get all of the water out. If you just do a little light squeeze, a lot of them, nothing's happening. So rolling around fast is maybe not going to give you as good as a result as if you just hang out and let the pressure happen. Ow, yeah. All kinds of stuff going on. And let me show you the other side. So I'm just moving this a little bit off center. I'm going to push the rounded edge against the inside of my hip bone. And this is an awkward one. You might need 1 or 2 or 3 times to find the muscle. If you don't find it right away, don't give up. Again, most of us have tight psoas just because we sit so much. And we have weak cores. So try it a few times because you familiarize yourself with the Rollga as well as with your body, and you might only find it the 2nd or 3rd time around. That's okay. I mean, you do massage some abdominal muscles there too, right? So I do feel some of that as well, for sure. Especially if you have maybe an abdominal surgery, something like that, and there's scar tissue in there, it could be part of that too. Alrighty, enough of that, she says. Okay, so that's the Rollga. It's not expensive. One of my students said she has like all kinds of workout equipment at home, and I know when you collect every other fitness equipment that gets produced and sold, then you're like, do I need another one? I get that. But she said this was the best purchase that she's ever made. So I'm really not saying this lightly. This is totally worth its money. Huge fan of the Rollga. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to see more cool information, head over to PilatesEncyclopedia.com. I'll see you next time.